Hey Book Dragons, I'm so glad you've joined me today. I'm doing a review today for Corruption of Faete by Ligia De Wit. This is the third book in her Bridea's Pledge book series. And this is a 4-book series. I just recently found out, so the last book is coming soon. I don't typically do book reviews for second and third books in a series, but for smaller publishers and self-publishers as well, I try to do them just because I know how important those book reviews are to writers. Not that they're not important to the big authors, but they're even more important to smaller and lesser known authors. So I want to make sure and get those reviews out there. And I really enjoyed Corruption of Faete. I've enjoyed this whole series. Now, the first book, A Touch of Fate, was good. I really enjoyed it. There were definitely some things that I would have liked to seen improved on, but I enjoyed it. Burden of Fate came out, and Burden of Fate was just a night and day leap from A Touch of Fate. So I was just really engaged in the story and wanting to know more by the end of it. And then we get to Corruption of Faete, and guys, wow, this book pulled out most of the stops. Like, there's still one more book to come, so there is kind of a cliffhanger at the end of book 3, but it's enough of an ending to where you're satisfied, but yet you're still like, okay, I need book 4 now. I really need book 4. And I'm just really enjoying this series. If you have not seen my reviews for A Touch of Fate and Burden of Fate, make sure you go check those out as well. Just look it up in the search bar with the name of the book and my name, or I will also leave a link in the cards at the end for the first video for A Touch of Fate that I did, so that you can check that out and hear more about the story if you'd like to. But just to kind of give you a summary, this is an urban fantasy series, so it is set in our modern world, and it involves the Fae, it involves pirates, it does have a love story, so if you like those elements, then you are going to feel right at home with the Bridea's Pledge series. And it is told from 2 different viewpoints, one of which is Rianne. In the first book, she is a human who has been touched by the Fae and given an element of Fae-like power that she begins to learn to use and grows with it, and she's assigned a pixie named Briseus. At least I think that's how his name is pronounced, and Briseus is just great as well. But hers is one of the viewpoints. It is told from the first person in that viewpoint. And the other viewpoint, which is also told from the first person, is Titus. And Titus is a pirate that initially kidnaps Rianne, and everything goes from there. I don't want to say too much. I don't want to spoil it. But that's the gist of what is happening. And in Corruption of Faete, we are following Titus and Rianne as they not only learn more about each other and their different powers, but they are also going up against forces that they never really planned on going up against. Some of them are other pirates, some of them are very powerful Fae, and some are otherworldly creatures that they had no idea that they would have ever had to deal with, and they know nothing about them. There's a lot of high stakes in this story. There's a lot of action. The pacing is really good. In fact, the pacing is fast in a lot of ways. These are quick reads. They're good palate cleansers. And I think Corruption of Faete was probably the quickest read of the 3 books for me, because I was just so immersed and so invested. Now, one thing that I mentioned earlier was the romantic element, and you may be thinking to yourself, oh, Chaz, I don't want to do a romantasy. Why are you talking to me about romantasy? I just want to make it clear, this is not romantasy. It is fantasy with a romantic subplot. So it's not like it's a romance story with a fantasy subplot. It's clearly a fantasy story that just happens to have some romance in it, and some really good romance at that. I love the budding romance between the two characters in the story. It makes for a nice breath of fresh air during all the stressful moments and the action moments, which there's plenty of that as well. There are times when these characters are in significant danger, and all they really need is to finally get back together and be together, and they know that they can weather the storm together. But there are some really dangerous moments, and so it makes those moments of romance really nice to kind of calm you down, and moments that make you go, "Aww." So I like it. I think you would really like it too. If you're not into romantasy, that's fine, because that's not what you're getting. So I will leave it at that. I'm not going to say too much about A Corruption of Faete, except read it. Read the entire series. I've been really impressed with what I've read so far. The series is published by Cursed Dragon Ship Publishing. That is a small press, and so I really like supporting small presses. I really hope a lot more people will read this series. Corruption of Faete just increases the buy-in over the last two books, and the last two books were already really good. So read Corruption of Faete, but don't do so without reading the first two books, okay? Let me know in the comments below what you think about this review. I know it was a quick review, not a whole lot to go on, but I'm trying to avoid spoilers. Do you like pirates? Do you like a little romance in your fantasy? And do you like stories involving the Fae? I like all of those. So, let me know in the comments if you do as well. And guys, until next time, make sure you read more books. And hey, if you want more videos to check out, look at the cards at the end of this video, one of which is my review for A Touch of Fate.